Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves in the UK travel scene lately. Imagine this, you're on a train journey that's over 5.5 hours long, and there are no working toilets on board. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, that's exactly what passengers on Lumo services between London and Stirling have been dealing with. Personally, I think this situation is more than just an inconvenience. It's a glaring example of how infrastructure issues can completely derail the passenger experience, no pun intended. What makes this really interesting is the way Lumo has been handling it. Instead of cancelling services, they've been making extended stops at stations like Preston, allowing passengers to disembark and use platform facilities. On the surface, it's a practical solution, but if you take a step back and think about it, it's also a bit of a band-aid fix. I mean, who wants to plan their bathroom breaks around train station stops? It's 2023, and we're still dealing with basic amenities like this. This raises a deeper question: how did we even get to this point? In my opinion, the root of the problem lies in the refurbishment of the Class 222 Meridian trains Lumo uses. Alstom, the company responsible for the upgrades, has acknowledged the issue, but their response feels a bit reactive rather than proactive. They're talking about reviewing the fleet, improving servicing checks, and ensuring toilet availability, all things that should have been ironclad before these trains hit the tracks. What this really suggests is that there might have been oversight in the refurbishment process, and passengers are now paying the price. Literally. One thing that immediately stands out is the comparison to budget airlines, like Ryanair. Liberal Democrat transport spokesperson Ollie Glover even joked about Lumo becoming the Ryanair of the rails. But here's the thing, airlines have a different set of expectations when it comes to amenities. Trains, especially long-distance ones, are supposed to offer a certain level of comfort and convenience. What many people don't realize is that train operators in Britain aren't legally required to provide onboard toilets, which feels like a massive oversight in regulation. If you ask me, this loophole needs to be addressed ASAP. From my perspective, Lumo's situation also highlights the challenges of operating on an open access basis. They set their own fares, take on all the revenue risk, and receive no taxpayer subsidies. That's a tough business model, and it's easy to see how cost-cutting measures could lead to corners being cut. But here's the kicker: when you're running services that compete with subsidized operators, you can't afford to skimp on basics like toilets. It's not just about passenger comfort, it's about maintaining trust and credibility. A detail I find fascinating is how this issue has unfolded against the backdrop of the UK's rail renationalisation efforts. Lumo, being an open-access operator, isn't affected by the government's takeover of franchised services. But this incident could fuel the debate about whether private operators are truly equipped to prioritize passenger needs over profits. Personally, I think it's a wake-up call for the entire industry to re-evaluate what constitutes essential services. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just Lumo's problem, it's a symptom of broader issues in the rail sector. Aging infrastructure, rushed refurbishments, and a lack of regulatory oversight all play a role. What this really suggests is that we need a systemic overhaul, not just quick fixes. Otherwise, we'll keep seeing these kinds of headaches pop up, and passengers will be the ones left holding the bag, or in this case, waiting for the next station stop. So, here's my closing thought: how much are we willing to compromise on basic amenities in the name of cost efficiency? And more importantly, what does it say about our priorities as a society when a 5.5-hour train journey without toilets becomes acceptable? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are we being too hard on Lumo, or is this a sign of bigger problems in the rail industry? Let's keep the conversation going.